Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tree of Woe Wrestling Podcast. I am the Black Patriot, and this is the Wrestling Podcast where we always put wrestling first because wrestling is the number one priority. Remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. It's a small thing for you, but for me, it means the world, and it means the world to the channel. Today's edition an edition before Monday Night Raw. So this Monday day when I'm making this video, gonna be watching Raw tonight and more than likely make a review on Raw. But what I wanted to stress before that is, where are we? What is the state of professional wrestling currently? Not just WWE, but the overall, in general, state of wrestling. I was talking to one of my friends about this, Mark from MD, from Cut My Music Wrestling, and we just had different opinions. He feels like it's overall down. WWE is the bar, and if the bar is being set low, that affects the wrestling in general. I had a less disaster scenario. Yes, WWE is bad right now, but wrestling across the world is thriving. Japan is doing well. Mexico is doing well. The indies are not just good, they're thriving. Like, people are making money and they're getting signed to larger promotions. Matt Cardona was an indie god. He had like 13 titles. Mercedes Moné was collecting titles. This is why, with WWE being in the midst of their annual spring cleaning and releases, this is why 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, before AEW, it was like if somebody got released from WWE, it was almost over for them. They would either go to Japan and hope they get bookings there, or toil on the independent circuit. But now it's not so much. In addition to just saying the indies, there's House of Glory. There is CMLL. I would say AAA, but WWE brought them, so I guess this is helping them, being a subsidiary of WWE. You know, AAA is there. There's Impact. There's AEW. There's Ring of Honor. There are places that, as fans, we can still watch wrestling. However, whatever we don't like about WWE, we could get it elsewhere. So as fans, there's a place where we can still get what we want from professional wrestling. And for the actual wrestlers themselves, there are additional places where they can work. So it's not all over if you get released from WWE. And I'm pretty positive, definitely, certainly the New Day will show up in AEW. And think of all the dream matches we could have there. A New Day versus FTR. New Day versus the Gun Club. New Day versus the Young Bucks. Kenny Omega have expressed interest in working with the New Day. So just because TKO is killing WWE, it does not mean that overall wrestling in general is doing bad. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. No matter how bad I think WWE is doing, I do think that WWE is here to stay. I don't think it's going nowhere. I don't think, even if, and this is what I do think Netflix is going to eventually get rid of Raw. I do think Netflix is going to kick Raw off unless they do something, WWE does something drastic to turn it around. I do see Netflix coming to the realization that they're not getting from this partnership everything that they've put into it. This benefits WWE more than it benefits Netflix, because WWE Monday Night Raw simply is not drawing the ratings that everybody thought it will. So even if Netflix kicks them off of the app, I do not see WWE going anywhere. As bad as the product is, and I've described TKO as a cancer to the business, I still think there will always be a spot for wrestling, for professional wrestling. I don't see it going anywhere. I don't think it's that bad to the point where one day you're gonna not see wrestling. People are like, oh, wrestling. It's not like when some people ask me if I talk about it, they be like, you still watch that? Yes, of course I do. I don't ever think it's gonna get to the point where it's gonna be like I don't watch wrestling anymore because there is no wrestling to watch. The NWA is still around to this day. So there's obviously a niche for wrestling, a niche for wrestling. Wrestling has its audience. No matter how bad WWE gets, guys, there is still more wrestling for you to absorb. Even within WWE, watch NXT. If you don't like Raw or SmackDown, then watch NXT. That is something that I cannot stress that I can't stress enough, because you can tell by some of the reactions that some of the wrestlers get on Raw or SmackDown when they get the call up. You can tell that a large majority of WWE's audience only watch Raw and SmackDown. I urge you to come out of that. There's more than just Raw and SmackDown in the wrestling world. You can watch Ring of Honor. You can watch Impact. You can watch AEW. You can watch New Japan. You can watch Stardom. There are a bunch of other wrestling promotions. Some of them I don't even know all their name. Because what I do, I watch all the wrestling content I can. I watch indie matches on YouTube all the time. I watch wrestling matches from the 90s. I watch anything. If I'm just thinking about a particular wrestler, Tessa Blanchard, for instance, because I just went through a whole Tessa block. I watched as many Tessa Blanchard matches as I could on YouTube. A bunch of old matches. Just whatever. Don't give up on wrestling. I've said you can give up on WWE's product, and I've said don't expect much from it, but that's just WWE. The biggest and the greatest promotion does not automatically equate to the best promotion. Okay? Biggest does not mean best. Largest promotion does not mean the greatest. Yeah, there's a lot of things that WWE do better than other promotion because, like I said, they're the big $1 billion promotion. Obviously, their production and stuff of that nature is better, but the heart, the soul, the passion of professional wrestling does not end with WWE. There are a bunch of other promotions out here that you should be interested in, one, as a wrestling fan, and there's a bunch of other promotions out here that if you give them the chance, you might end up liking what you see. But that brings me to another point. The big two, for American audience, WWE and AEW. I will admit, despite the tribalism, despite the fans going back and forth on social media, on internet, both companies currently are equally bad. Equally bad. Both products are not where they should be. And it's all because of the booking. Because if you look at the rosters of both companies, they have the best active professional wrestlers in the world. in the world, yo. Only thing is missing is some key women from Japan that will make these rosters have the best male and female wrestling talent in the world. But talent get lost in the shuffle. On the WWE side, it's simply not booking certain people, ignoring them altogether. On the AEW side, it's booking the wrong people in certain scenarios. And I'm gonna give you an example for both. WWE, the biggest example is LA Knight. Organically over. Been over with the crowd for 3 years now. Was more popular than Roman in their feud. Surpassed Roman Reigns. At one point was the highest merchandise seller in the company. Didn't push him because he didn't get over because they didn't put him over. Ignored him. Same boring storylines, redundant segments that go nowhere. That's WWE's issue. Lack of story, or when there is a story, it's boring and it goes nowhere. Won't push stars to get themselves over. Drew McIntyre is another one. AEW's problem, and they do this a lot, putting the wrong people front and center. The amount of jobbery and curtain jerking that I see watching Dynamite and Collision is just ridiculous. And I can let it slide on Collision because 1, it's the B show. 2, it's in a time slot where a lot of people ain't even thinking about wrestling. Most people have something else to do on their Fridays and Saturday nights. But Dynamite is your flagship show. So why am I watching your flagship show filled up with jobbers? Got guys out there coming out that I've never even heard of. And I'm one of the biggest wrestling nerds you will ever meet. So if this wrestler is so obscure, so indie-rific, that even I have not heard of him, this guy should not be on Wednesday nights on your flagship show that's supposed to be competing with WWE, or you would want it to compete with WWE. I'll say it. Dynamite is AEW's Raw. I should not be seeing guys that even I have no idea who they are. Not a casual wrestling fan, a wrestling nerd, and I don't know who these guys are. They should not be on your Wednesday night show. This past Wednesday, 2 of the matches were straight enhancement talent. And I'm just like, really? We're doing enhancement talent now on the flagship program. No Jericho, no Kenny Omega, no John Moxley, no Will Ospreay. Tekla didn't show up on this show. So your champions aren't on this show. But you got jobbers and no-name wrestlers showing up. You had the AEW World Champion out there devaluing the world title. Because why on earth is Darby Allin wrestling multiple weeks, back-to-back weeks, defending the title? The title should be defended at pay-per-views and PLEs only. If it's going to happen on regular free television, it should be something special. It should happen on Dynamite every now and then. It shouldn't be 3 weeks in a row. He defended against Brody King. He's going to defend against Kevin Knight. And he defended against Tommaso Ciampa like 2 weeks ago. None of these title defenses are earned either. Just random. That is AEW's problem. Random storylines that don't make sense. Too many jobbers. Too many wrestlers that we do not care about. Showcase this talent on Collision. They do not belong on Wednesday. Wednesday night should be only for the main eventers and the upper mid-carders. Yes, all shows need jobbers because the main eventers and the faces, the baby face, they have to beat somebody. Your jobber should also be established talent, not no-name guys or hometown talent that you just found somewhere. So, nutshell, WWE does not push who the fans chooses. Lack of stories. When stories do happen, they're nonsensical, redundant, they go nowhere. Kairi Sane is a big example. The New Day's heel turn is a major example. AEW in a nutshell, showcasing the wrong talent. Storylines that don't make sense. They're not only is the booking nonsensical, you're featuring talent that nobody knows and that nobody cares about. Stop it. WWE is performing at a state where AEW could have been surpassed them. And this is what I don't understand. All the wrestlers on that roster, Edge is there, Christian is there, Samoa Joe is there, Jericho, Kenny Omega. I can go on and on. Okada. Why isn't nobody saying anything to Tony Khan? AEW could have been overtaking WWE. They just refuse to do right by the fans. Both companies simply refuse to do right by the fans. But just because WWE is in the toilet and AEW is circling the drain, I'm here to tell you that does not mean wrestling is dead. If you want it to, you could find as many excellent matches that you want to. You could tap in. You could get online. It's out there. You just have to be willing to find it. WWE isn't the end-all, be-all. There are alternatives. AEW could be a super alternative. They just don't know how to book their shows. And I guess everybody there is just happy collecting a paycheck, so they don't say anything. Because there's no way that anybody is looking at these products with the consideration, taking in consideration of the fan, the consumer. Because the last few weeks of Raw and of SmackDown have been terrible. The last few weeks of AEW have been terrible. And let me not say few weeks, because that will imply that there's previous weeks where the shows were better. Both of this has been going on for both companies for around 2 years now. 2 years. Tekla is the only good thing going in AEW right now. Before Tekla, it was Tony Storm. So they have not been able to make any of their male talent compelling. 2 women leading the way. WWE has been terrible since Triple H took over. 2 terrible WrestleMania seasons in a row. Botched John Cena heel turn, which should have been the biggest thing in the industry. It's just not good. Both companies have been horrible for going on 2 years. Since 2024, late 2023. So, miss me with the tribalism. Miss me with the if you don't like it, don't watch. That's one of the most idiotic things one could say. Because if you like something, if you love it, if you're a fan of it, you can absolutely criticize it because it needs to be better. How else would the powers that be know that we disapprove if we don't say anything? You You, the one that actively accepts anything that's put before you, you're the one that's actually hurting the business. Not me or not any other content creator that's calling this mess out. You're the one. The blind, the bot fan that just accepts anything. It's the blind leading the blind. WWE is blind. They're going to lead you off a cliff. You're blind enough to follow them off the cliff. AEW is brain dead. They're going to dance around the issues and not really commit. You're dumb enough and smooth brain enough to join them in their dance. There has to be some form of backlash. There has to be some form of pushback. These companies cannot think that we're okay with this, because if they think everything is okay, nothing is going to change. We want wrestling to be great. We want wrestling to be entertaining. We want it to be fun. It's not fun or entertaining currently. WWE and AEW certainly isn't. We have to push back. We have to let these companies know that we are not happy, that we are not satisfied. And then, and only then, will something change. Stop complaining. Stop fighting amongst each other. It's not AEW versus WWE. It's not Ring of Honor versus TNA. It's the fans wanting something better. That's all this is. We want to be entertained again. And that's it for me, guys. Remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your wrestling buddies. This has been the Tree of Woe Wrestling Podcast with the Black Patriot. I'm here. I will always be here, bringing you the dopest wrestling content on the net. Thank you. Peace out. Stay safe.